Saka is still absent, but there was one positive aspect of the game of the weekend, which was the return of Gabriel Martinelli. Maybe a bit unexpectedly. I think we all
Mm.
thought he might be out until after the international break, but he was back on the bench, came off the bench at Old Trafford, and a couple of lively moments. I think there was that one where he could have squared it to Trossard, but went for the near post and Onana saved it. So, first of all, what did you make of his cameo at Old Trafford? And secondly, how pleasing is it to see him back this early?
It's very pleasing. Look, they kept that one under wraps, didn't they? I certainly wasn't expecting that. There was whispers. I think a video sord of emerged of him with the squad at the train station on the morning of the game, and it was like that's a bit of a surprise. It was certainly a surprise to me. There'd been no hint that he was ready to come back, and it's definitely a boost. I actually thought he played quite well when he came on yesterday. He got a bit of stick online, I think, Martinelli, but for his first game in a while, coming off the bench like that, I thought he was a bit of a threat. Um, Maybe his touch could have been better. That chance you talked about there, where he ended up shooting at the near post, if his touch was better, and he probably could have worked himself a better shooting position than the one he actually ended up taking the shot from. Like you said, he could have squared it, but I like the fact he took it on. It's a boost for Arsenal. They haven't got many attackers at the moment, so any attackers they get back, it's going to be a boost. We're going to have to give him a few weeks to get back to towards his best, but it's a real welcome addition to the squad for Mikel Arteta at a time when he's crying out for more attackers. So yeah, it's good. It is good news on that front. It's earlier than we all thought and expected. So fair play to the medical team and the staff for getting him back in pretty rapid time. But yeah, I imagine we're still going to have to wait a few weeks to see him get back to his best, probably until after the international break.
Certainly is a boost. Yes, of course, he came on for Ethan Nwaneri on the right hand side, Old
Mm.
Trafford. But is he also an option now for that number nine role? Because Marino obviously scored against PSV in the week, but couldn't really make his mark at Old Trafford. Martinelli, he's toyed. I think it used to be him and Trossard sort of interchanging between that, left wing and centre forward spot when Arteta didn't have any other options. So could he now come into contention for a start in that number nine position?
I think he could. I don't know if Mikel will actually do it. I think he's definitely an option there, but can he hold the ball up? Will he be able to bring others into play? I think that's definitely a big question mark hanging over him. Whether playing with his back to goal, that sort of stuff. I agree. I didn't think Marino had a very effective game yesterday in that role. That's going to happen sometimes when you're playing as a makeshift striker. He'll have a good day. Sometimes he'll have a bad day. I didn't think he was particularly great yesterday. Now, Martinelli, if you're playing as a nine, you really want him to stretch the defence. But the thing is with the way Arsenal the way teams are setting up against Arsenal now, even if Martinelli was playing as that nine, you don't really think he'd have too much space to run into because teams just play so low against Arsenal. So that space where he could be a real threat, getting on the last shoulder of the centre back, you don't really imagine in that happening, very much. So um, I still think Mikel will probably go with what he's been doing so far and use Martinelli more as a wide option. But there is definitely an opportunity for him to play there at some point between now and the end of the season. You would imagine it'd be good to see it as well, even if it doesn't work. Arsenal need to try things at the moment because it's not exactly working brilliantly in the Premier League with Marino there, is it? So it would be good to try something new. Maybe you catch a team off guard as well a little bit if you do that. If you do use that option.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Mikel goes for. And what's also interesting is maybe Martinelli's contract situation. He's out of contract in 2 years' time. He's got an option for another 12 months.
Mm.
I've seen rumours of talks, but nothing concrete yet. And it's do Arsenal need to? Would you be happy to see Martinelli given a new contract, or do you think Arsenal need to pursue an upgrade on the left wing, say a Nico Williams?
I think it's definitely an area that Arsenal can upgrade, and by that I'm not saying that's the end of Martinelli at Arsenal. I think what Arsenal need to do is improve the options that they have at the moment. The options they've got off the bench aren't that great. He clearly doesn't fancy Raheem Sterling. He's bringing Kieran Tierney on ahead of him, so I think left wing is definitely an area where they can upgrade. But I think Martinelli still has a big part to play at Arsenal. If it's whether it be sort of rotating with another left winger who comes in, Nico Williams, for example, we know Mikel Arteta would love to sign Nico Williams. If you could get that deal over the line, which will be tough to do, but if they can get that deal over the line, and then you have Martinelli, as your option off the bench, I think that's a really strong option to have off the bench. And you can also, you don't have to play Nico Williams every game. You can rotate the two of them or whoever comes in as that left-sided option. So, I don't think it's the end of Martinelli at Arsenal by any means if they do go out and improve in the transfer market in the summer in that position, and I do feel like it's an area. Now, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Trossard goes. One of those two. I would be. I'd be quite shocked if both of those players are still at Arsenal next season. I could see one of them going, um, and I would certainly sort of look at Trossard as a more likely option than two, just because of his age, his contract situation. Martinelli's still young. He can still improve. He's still got, with that option, 3 years left on his deal. So there's no rush to move him on. Trossard, 1 year left. He's into his 30s. There was interest from Saudi Arabia last summer. If that materialises again and Arsenal can see a way of cashing in on him, wouldn't surprise me if they take that opportunity and then bring someone else in to share the load of Martinelli over on that side.